Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one drink that we rule them all. Hope people remember your thoughts. Get your Uru hammers and your Middle Earth guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Use Valerian steel if it will get you to come. To the pit tank. To the pit tank. The Rocky Mountain pit tank.
Hi, I'm Guy.
Hi, I'm Troy.
Hi, I'm Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.
Your 3x3 sized podcast. Actually, I guess this is 3x0, which would be 0 if you multiply 3 by 0.
I feel like we're doing a divide by zero error.
You know. So yeah, Nick was telling me about some guy. It's called like
That's irrational.
Terryism or something like that. It's supposed to be like some guy trying to prove that 0 doesn't exist. And this is one of these crazy nutcases who believes like lizard people rule the earth or something like that. But
well, I mean, lizard people are. I mean, that's just a given.
I thought the monkey people ruled the earth.
No, monkey people have been fighting lizard people. This is what's been going on for. I just don't think.
I laugh it up while you can, the monkey boy.
Oh man. Yeah, that's me.
Terry S. McGinnis. Okay, actually, I had to look this up because I couldn't remember. A thought. No, that's not it.
A butt? What?
A butt.
What about it?
Have I got the right guy? No, I don't have the right guy. I can't find them. Anyway, yeah, he was telling me about this crazy conspiracy guy. Oh, Terrence Howard. That's the name. Thinks 1 × 1 = 2. Has a secret system called Terryology and spends 17 hours a day making nameless plastic structures. Okay. Yeah. It's just the things you learn from your kids. As I segue into Guy's thing.
You mean the thing I was just talking about before we went on?
Yeah, before we went on. Since it involves your kid, I was just segueing into your kid there.
Well, that's a good
Gross.
segue. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an interesting...
Well, of all the vehicles to run somebody over with, the Segway is probably one of the least painful ones.
I feel like it would be not very good, yeah.
Probably not fatal.
So, interestingly, my child is right now studying about the amendments to the Constitution. And we had been discussing all of the constitutional amendments, including the ones, not just the Bill of Rights, but the other ones, because there was kind of a discussion about, well, you know, the 11th Amendment's not very useful, or, you know, stuff like that. Well, I'm like, well, it is, but it's kind of one of those things. Like, really, it was the Third Amendment that we were talking about. Although I have, maybe not honestly, but, you know, when James is over here, I'm like, no, you can't stay here because I'll invoke the Third Amendment. Don't think I won't, you know. So, because the Third Amendment, of course, is about housing soldiers. But there's an interesting thing that had happened, which was we were going through the whole thing and discussing all of the amendments, and we talked about the 24th Amendment, which is about poll tax. And if you're not familiar with what poll taxes are, it's at one point in time we charged fees effectively to vote. That was effectively what it was. So what, of course, we discovered was that meant that only rich people could vote. Poor people could never vote because they couldn't afford the fees. And so just as I have been going through and digitizing a whole bunch of stuff to try to get rid of some of these boxes of things, and just as I had been going through that this evening, I went through my grandmother's wallet, which I had recovered and never really did anything with, and I came up with this, which is kind of hard to see without you highlighting it, but It's a receipt for a poll tax. It's a poll tax receipt. And I thought that was fascinating that A, I have one, and B, that not only do we have one, but it came up tonight on the same night that I had just been having this discussion with my child.
Can you zoom in?
Yep, you can read it.
No, can you zoom in?
No, zooming in is a little bit more than, well, I might be able to do this. Hang on. Maybe I can do this kind of thing. There. Yeah. That's better. So, interestingly, it is a poll tax receipt. It is literally a receipt for taxes in the precinct and the ward that they were in that year. And I'm finding that to be, like I said, fascinating that it showed up tonight after having a discussion about the 24th Amendment. But B, it is fascinating because it is an article of, we made an amendment to the Constitution so we would never do this again. Here's an artifact of something that we literally made an amendment to the Constitution to stop. And I find that intriguing.
Oh,
I shall keep this. So
what year was that one?
64.
I'm trying to look something up here.
Yep. That amendment was, the 24th was put into place January 23rd, 1964.
They're only giving me the costs up through early 1900s. So,
yeah, it doesn't say how much this is on there, which I find fascinating. There are a couple of other things that I find terrifying. It says race, white or colored, sex, male or female. So that's terrifying. So, I mean, like, but this was 1/4/1965. So whatever happened, it didn't trickle down. This amendment didn't change until a year after, at least a year after. So that's fascinating to me.
Yeah. How do I do that?
I am truly intrigued by this. I mean, yeah.
Just trying to look up what the cost in today's dollars would have been, and
for Texas, it
for
would have been,
for 1965.
Well, it was 150 or 150 start, and then moved up, and it would have been $59 this year. And 1966 was its last year. Oklahoma kept poll taxes all the way to 86.
Wow.
Yeah. We never had poll taxes. We're not even on this list. That's also intriguing.
Well, it says $1 in 1965 is the same purchasing power as $9.50 today.
Right.
So if it was $1.50, then it's like $15, which is still.
Well, no, it said $1.75, and then in parentheses says $59 in 2022. So I think what they were saying was it was $1.75 in 1902. So
1902. I thought you meant your 1965 one.
No, it doesn't say what 1965 was.
Well, how does it have a price on it? Like it's a receipt. So how much does it say it paid?
It didn't say anything about how much it paid.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it just asks what sex and race you are, like as if that wasn't creepy enough. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, guess where I come from? Just saying. I mean, this was my grandmother's. It was in her purse, and I find that intriguing because somewhere along the line, she got this poll tax receipt, paid the poll tax, and then just shoved the receipt in her purse and never thought twice about it. And then tonight, for the first time since it was actually put into her purse, I pulled it back out because I was going to take everything out of her purse, take pictures of it, and throw it all away because I don't need her purse. I've been holding onto her purse since 1995 when she passed away. It's just been in a box moving from house to house. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it.
That's just that's the year 1964 that it was actually ratified. So
yes,
that would be like probably the last one.
This was the last one because it was 65, and Texas stopped doing it in 66. So this is the last poll tax that Texas did. So because it says up here the date is 1/4/1965, even though on the left over here it says original 1964. It's because this was used in January 4th, 1965. So it would have been the 65 election. I just find it super fascinating. I also find it fascinating that the race is white or colored. That's another one of those terms that I could live the rest of my life never hearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they just keep finding different ways to try to do the same trick, though.
Yep.
Got the whole
Yep. You're not wrong.
carving up the districts and such.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So
yeah. So that's the interesting thing for today. I found
that's all, folks.
that's it. Good night. Show's over. Go home. No, I mean, I found all kinds of interesting things here, but I'm going to keep this. I feel like this piece of paper is one that I took a picture of it, of course, a high res picture of it, but it's in my camera, which is over there and not over here. Otherwise I'd use it instead. But yeah, I'm intrigued by that. That's a fascinating thing to see.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact quote or judge it was that said this, but I was watching John Oliver with Tara, and some Supreme Court jerks said that we won't have equal women's rights until 30 to 50 years from now.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it came up because it's like, do you think we'll have flying cars before we have equal rights?
Yeah. Well, there is something that's interesting about this particular discussion, which is we are making progress. It's just slow. Because, I mean, this was a thing. Poll taxes were a thing, and it's not anymore. And nobody even knows. I mean, now I'm talking about an artifact that literally my grandmother kept the receipt of in her purse. So it's not that much that long ago, but it's completely gone. And we don't even know of it now. It is a thing that was bad and clearly needed to stop. And so I was finding that to be fascinating personally. I was just like, I'm finding all kinds of interesting artifacts in this particular project.
So my mom,
your mom,
would have been old enough to have one of those because she would have been old enough to vote when the poll tax was still going on. Whether she actually voted or not, I don't know.
Yep. My family was staunch conservative. So they definitely voted.
Considering there's a cost to it, there's a good chance that my parents didn't bother voting.
Yeah, probably true.
So,
well, except Kentucky didn't have poll taxes. So
then they wouldn't have to worry about it. I didn't realize it was not. It was only. Was it just Texas, or was there other states?
No, it says I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now, and it's talking about poll taxes by state. And I'm noticing, Alabama, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, and Delaware, which means we didn't have a poll tax, I guess. Then Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, etc. But I'm not seeing Kentucky on here either.
Well, they were right in that dividing line of when the Civil War went down.
Yeah, they couldn't figure out whether they were which side of the Mason-Dixon line they were on.
Well, the southern side, was siding with the Southerns, and the northern side was siding with the Yankees. So.
Yep. Anyway, yeah. So I've run into a few interesting artifacts of history while doing this. Some of it's been hard to throw away. I'm finding letters written by Mom, and I'm holding it in my hand, and it's been hard to, after I've taken a picture of it, I've captured the letter, it's there, but it's hard to put that piece of paper in the trash.
Well, if it's handwritten, that makes a difference. The question is it worth going to Family Dollar, spending $1.25 on a frame and framing it and hanging it up?
Right.
Because if it is,
she wrote a lot. And I've got a lot of her old notebooks and her old things, and I could save one or two of them, but there's no point.
Okay.
It would be, I'm saving some things. I've spent so many years saving everything. And because I didn't know what was valuable and what wasn't. And I'm not just talking about what would bring money. I'm talking about you know, you throw away the thing, and then 3 years later, somebody goes, "Did you happen to save that one thing that had this only piece of information about our family or something?" You know.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was recently asked about our audio recordings for our D&D game, and because you remember we were having some audio issues on my end, I was curious if you had any recordings of the D&D games.
Yes, I do.
Because of course our dear friend Sarah was asking me about that.
I do have, and there are some out there with the individual in question.
Okay.
And I have them. I just have to figure out which Geek Tank they are, because they were recorded on the recorder, which just calls it Geek Tank 001, Geek Tank 002. So I have to figure out which one it is, but there are a number of those games, and or a number of those games have been captured. And when they were, I saved them.
Any longer than an hour would be my first guess.
Yeah,
they were like
but we've got a lot of those because sadly we do that a lot. And part of the problem is some of them were saved to my desktop, which has been compiled into one big happy pool of 1,000 different items, because that's how I do my world, is I save things to my desktop, and then at some point I'm like, I can't see anything for my stupid, all these dumb things, so I grab everything and throw it in a folder and then say, I'll look through it later. You know, in other words, yes, it probably wouldn't even take me that much effort to find them. I just
be on the lookout. Okay. And you can dismiss your fear because
quite a few of them.
Brent is here, so you can have no fear.
Well, I don't have any fear because Brent is here,
except for cockroaches.
No, I have that fear. That's a fear. But I mean, have you seen them? They're ugly. They're gross. It's a justifiable fear.
They think you're pretty ugly too, though.
Right? Well, but I'm righter than they are. That's just the way it goes.
Did you say whiter?
That probably that too.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a cockroach? Ugh, they're nasty.
See here. So we have
jokes I make at this point in time are going to go way off rails. So I'm
you just shut up.
This is a shut up moment.
Well, did you let Alex know about the Galacticon news?
No, I did not let Alex know, because Alex and I have not actually had walks since the Galacticon news.
No walkies.
No walkies.
Nope, no walkies for Guy.
However, the next time I walkie with you, I actually have some paperwork of yours that I would like to return to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. I think, see, spiders are pretty nasty too. No. It's notes, dojo notes. You gave them to me to study. I have captured them digitally, and I can give them back to you now, because I will read them via the digital version now. So I don't need the paper version. You may have it back.
Cool.
Which I believe came from the other. I don't want to say his name on air, but
yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
The old school.
Yep. But it came from. Well, it's not because of bad things. It's just I didn't have permission to say his name on air. It's so you will know what I'm talking about.
I already know. It's just funny to me. So,
well,
Galacticon,
talking about that. So,
by your command, different kind of Galacticon.
Galacticon.
So, 2023 gonna be in the DTC area, November 24th to November 26th. The hotel is at 4900 South Syracuse.
Right. So
Street, blah 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 blah. Marriott.
We went to for IndieK for many years.
But we've had our media passes approved, so Geek Tank will be there. And they also gave us a scoop.
Yeah,
they gave us permission to make an announcement on our show that nobody else is getting a chance to announce yet. So you'll be hearing it here first.
To say the names wrong, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, and you being the Star Trek person, I'm going to leave that in your hands.
In my capable hands.
I mean, you got Renee's name, right?
Right? That's still a moment. That's a moment.
As it should be.
As it should be. Okay, let's see here. So we have an exclusive that says that Rocky Mountain Geek Tank can announce that Jesse James Keitel will be attending. So this is our scoop. We get Jesse James Keitel.
And who is Jesse James Keitel?
Right. Was in season 1 of Strange New Worlds as the pirate captain who tried to turn in, or well, ended up taking over the Enterprise. So there you go. And
all right, honestly, I wasn't because of the name.
2 names.
I didn't know if it was male or female.
Yep.
Not that matters. It's just I
she has 2 names.
We're not far enough along that I know the actors' names in Brave New Worlds.
Well, this is a new one for me too. So I didn't know this character either. So it's kind of one of those things where totally new as well. But it's interesting because in Strange New World she plays a non-binary villain. So it's they them, which is kind of cool, if nothing else. I'm trying to remember if I can find the episode because I want to say the names correctly. And I'm not as familiar just yet about these characters totally. So
how dare you, Sarah?
I know. Well, I've only seen them 3 times. So
how dare you?
Time.
She is.
It is perfectly acceptable for me not to have seen all of Picard yet.
So she is the daughter of the Wolf. Keitel. Yeah. Harvey Keitel's daughter.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel's daughter. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So we've actually watched this, Troy. This is the episode where with the Orions.
Yeah, it's the one that Tara was making fun of about the bed and connecting it to Futurama with Zap Brannigan.
Yes.
Check out my velour clothing.
Yes. So, yeah. So I'm trying to find her name because I've forgotten her name off the top of my head and it drives me crazy. So, and of course I can't seem to. Dr. Aspen. Mm-hmm. So she played Dr. Aspen, and I can't. Fine. There was also a flip side to Dr. Aspen.
Well, it was it's the obvious. I mean, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it. You might not want to listen to the secret.
Yeah, don't
thing.
Don't.
Oh no!
You haven't seen the episode.
But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like when you first see them, it's like, they look like a villain.
Right.
And then like 3/4 of the way through, it's like, ha, I'm secretly a villain. It's like, you did a really bad job of hiding that you're a villain.
Right. But did a great job of being a villain. So there's that. Chewed up the scenery quite approprilically. Anyway.
And the captain.
And the captain. Anyway, needless to say, she will be at Galacticon along with Todd Stashwick.
So there
was Captain
Shaw. You want to interview him for sure.
Oh, I totally want to interview. I really want to interview him
because there's some thing for
I think
a skit based off of one of the episodes I haven't seen yet. Obviously,
no, because that's from Picard season 3.
Then I haven't seen that because I think I may have finished season 2.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But would you since they're both Star Trek personalities, you can have one or both of them as you choose, and of course I'll step in for any that you would like me to take over.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then,
I actually really would like to take Todd if I can, just because
you could have them both.
Really, huh?
You could have them both if you want.
Oh no,
same time even.
You can take James Keitel, but I mean, like Todd, I really want to ask because he's a geek, he's a Trekkie. I mean, like that's the big thing is he's a Trekkie. He was even saying one of the coolest things is he's now got an action figure, and his first action figure was Captain Kirk as a kid.
Probably the Mego one.
Yeah, it was the Mego Captain Kirk. And so now he's got his own action figure, and he's so excited about that.
You can have them fight each other.
Right?
Da, 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 da.
Yep. It's one of those things. So.
And then let's see that if you are available, Alex, and if you'd like to dive into this, since you're part of the team, if we get any interviews that you think you'd be interested in doing. No.
Sure.
I know, man. You haven't done any interviews because we hit COVID times.
This is totally giving Alex we've got to give Alex like.
So does your show rule or does it suck?
We need to possibly consider looking into those. Didn't you say you found a really positive line to some jerseys, guy?
Yeah.
Like a more reasonable rate than what we were using?
I believe so.
Because it might be time for New Jersey, so we can get Alex a jersey.
I don't know. New Jersey seems like a
New
bad
Jersey?
place. Everything I've ever heard about that is just not good.
Not New Jersey, New Jerseys.
Oh man, that's like a disease of New Jersey's.
That's what they speak in New Jersey.
Right. That's the language. Alex's first interview, says Brent.
I have no idea who's gonna be there. I guess I'll look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to figure out who's all there. I know that we've got Todd. We've got Jesse James now, so that's kind of cool too.
Well, I just had it open. Let me see if I can see the guests page. Well, not from here. I can't. That's just is not helpful at all.
Yeah, not with that.
Media guests.
There we go.
Don't know him. I know who she is. Don't know him.
If we get a jersey for Alex, maybe we'll have to figure out how to get you a jersey too, Brent.
Who did he play in American?
For just 5 easy installments to $59.99.
So, how does it feel to be on a show that the showrunners left for the first year? How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Which shows that?
It's American Gods.
Oh, right.
How did it make you feel that all the other seasons after the showrunners left totally sucked?
This interview's over.
No. And this guy, never seen him.
Mm-hmm.
This other guy, no,
Oh.
never seen him.
There's Supernatural, Stargate, SG-1, Battlestar Galactica, The Magicians.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like, I know the shows. It's like
I don't have a burning need to interview any of these people.
I think the Hunger Games is where I recognize Ahmed from. Ahmed. I just don't know why I said his name wrong.
You know what would be really cool is if we could get somebody to sponsor us by giving us jerseys. You know what's even cooler than that?
New Jerseys?
Our sponsors.
They're pretty cool.
They are pretty cool.
And they're so cool. Watch this. They're so cool that they even have their own little thing that appears like right there.
Which is to say, the Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, and Your Mom. There we go.
Yep. That mom of yours.
That mom of yours.
She sure knows how to sponsor a person, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Denise Crosby will be there.
From
Yar.
Crosby, Stills, and Nash? Sorry.
No. Lieutenant Yar.
I know.
But I'm
Yar.
sure that we don't want to go in there and go, so, what's it feel like to miss the boat? You know, that'd probably be bad.
What's it feel like getting killed by a big tar monster?
Right? I think the best part about that, though, was that in show, they've made it even... It's canonicized that in the show, it's like it was stupid that she died that way.
Yeah.
Even in the show.
I'm trying to remember who she played in Dexter.
Quick question.
Nurse Mary. Okay. Yes.
Has the SAG-AFTRA strike ended yet? Do we know?
I don't know.
I thought it did. I thought they came to an agreement.
I thought they did too, but then I saw another picture of Jerry Ryan out on the...
Nobody gave her the memo.
Right. Jerry's still out there.
SAG-AFTRA Studios returned to negotiations on Tuesday. That was 2 days ago.
So they're still talking.
Yeah. Labor and Management last broke off discussion October 11th with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers saying that the gap between both sides was too great to continue discussions. SAG-AFTRA and Hollywood Studios have finally set a date to return to the bargaining table on October 21st. The two parties announced that they would resume negotiations on Tuesday, October 24th.
The writers did get a deal, but the actors have not.
Yeah.
So that will mean that we won't be able to discuss
shows,
a lot of stuff with them.
Well, good news, everybody. It's a suppository. So, no, good news. We tend to go for the questions that most people don't ask, which is usually questions unrelated to the shows.
Which I think is why we got fast run into it. Well, that and we know the guy who's in charge. Well, and I mean that in a not nepotistic way. I mean that as in he knows
wrong
that
with
we're not trouble,
conventions.
and he can ask us, please don't say this, please don't do that. you
Right.
know?
We've been working through his group enough times that they know that one, we don't have an ego, and
Yeah.
two, we will accommodate to the convention's needs as to whatever they need, because we're there to make the convention be known, kind of thing. With not that Starfest needed us for that, but it was still
Yeah.
cool to be there. So yeah, she played. I want to say it was only in a single episode, but she played one of the guest serial killers that Dexter kills, which is pretty much anytime someone with a big name or is a recognizable character that makes a guest appearance on it, you can pretty much be guaranteed that they're going to be someone that Dexter's going to kill.
Sort of part of the setup. So that is an exciting scenario of things. Next weekend, of course, is Mile High Con, at which time both Alex and I will be there.
Will you be there Friday?
Me?
Yeah.
Theoretically, so I think I'm tabling. So
okay, so no Star Trek Friday.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that we'll be clear. I mean, I don't think it runs that late.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Now I don't know. I haven't actually. I think I got instructions somewhere along the line on what I'm supposed to do, and I naturally did not, in fact, read the instructions. So maybe I'll go do that. Just saying. The con did tell me what to do, but I am so
irresponsible.
That's the word. Irresponsible. That it just disappeared on me. So I am trying to figure out. Now I'm like going back through my email. Like, did they send me instructions? I don't know.
Well, now. So
Don't make them call me on you.
Fun game last Saturday.
Yeah,
fun
that I wasn't for. I wasn't there for. Yeah.
I guess that's why it was fun.
Oh,
that's it. Exactly.
Yeah, you weren't there for it, but you were lining up to be jumping in at some point, possibly in the game when James comes back, or the game after James comes back, or something, whichever way. But I love that it the impromptu Mission Impossible rescue the ferret.
Yeah, when I rescued Valerius Ferret, we blew through at the very least 3 level 2 spell slots, 1 level 6 spell slot, and 1 level 7 spell slot. The perfect heist.
Yep. To get a ferret back. Not a magical ferret. Not a ferret of any monetary value.
In her heart.
It is. Her bosom buddy, since that's where he lives.
Bosom buddy. It's so not right. I'm just gonna say it now.
Paladin with a ferret in the cleavage.
Oh, good.
Cleric.
No,
cleric.
Cleric. Sorry, cleric. That's right.
Instruction.
I got no paladins in this group.
Because that cleric wears plate mail armor, I forget sometimes.
That's cleric's role.
Yep. So did you find what you're looking for yet?
No, I'm looking over here, and I don't think she gave me any kind of information.
So, Guy and I got to hang out with the lads from BAM, the superhero guest that we had last time.
Oh,
and we're still on track of getting a set of the alpha of that, Alex. So that should be coming in my possession. And I'll pass it on to you whatever Saturday we game after that happens. It was fun to finally get to sit down and play it again, because it's definitely been streamlined over the years.
Nice.
That was actually the statement that my kiddo made, which I thought was very well put together. And she was saying that it looked like the game still had, what was it? The game still has some hiccups, but it's clear that they have made a lot of progress since some other previous time, because I don't think they've ever played it before. But I think that was a very astute commentary.
I feel like there's not really hiccups in it as much as there's still, it's new, so therefore most people who've really been in the card gaming community for a long time are used to so many variables that there's mechanics that at least I feel like I expect to see in a card game, and I shouldn't. But I know that they'll most likely be added in as they come out with expansions and such.
Right.
But it's definitely has a ton of synergy in it. It has an aspect in it that Magic doesn't have, which is a secrecy to cards on table. Because you stack the cards as they get played. So when you're fighting over a territory, when you drop another hero in on top, it goes on top of the previous hero. So if they don't know that hero's stats offhand, then that's information they don't have to add up to card count. Which will be interesting because then that means I don't know if they've already thought about this, but they'll have to come up if there's any rules, tournament rules that say you can't take notes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Or
Now
are
you say that, I was like, oh.
Or am I allowed to look at my phone? Because I can see the name of your hero. It's Door Girl, but maybe I don't remember all of her stats. But if I can look up Door Girl on my phone, then all of a sudden I know all the stats.
Right.
So yeah.
That is an interesting side effect.
Some music you're jamming to there?
Yep.
Nice.
Jamming out.
Yeah, that is a cool, interesting idea. Or maybe they just say, yeah, do whatever you want to, but each round is timed.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they do the chess clock thing, and it's like, yeah, spend your time
Yeah.
looking shit up.
Do it on the other player's turn fast as you can. And it inspires the other player to take their turn quick.
I really think their side effect thing was kind of cool. That was an interesting mechanic. So some cards had an effect that was turned 90 degrees.
Oh, right. So their versions of instances are printed sideways on the card. So you could either play the card as is oriented the way it's printed as a normal card would be as its character, or you could drop it from your hand sideways and get the sideways effect, and then it goes to your equivalent of the graveyard or to its retired pile. So some cards have double effects like that.
Yeah. You get one, the main card's a hero of a superhero or supervillain, but the side effect was turned sideways, and you could use it as an instant, played instantly, which I thought was kind of cool.
We came up with you'd already left, Guy, but we came up with a new supervillain that I helped create, Schadenfreude. It is they actually were going to use a different name but the effect would be called like the effect has a different name. They didn't want to use Schadenfreude as the effect's name because it was too long, and that's when I said it should be a villain. And they're like, yeah, and so we're creating this German dominatrix character as this villain who is like, it's basically a bounce effect. So when you do something, the person can redirect it. Right. So to be like, you discard 2 cards, like, no, you discard 2 cards. So fun stuff. So we came in here without a plan other than we were announcing we had a special guest.
We did definitely have that as a plan. That was our plan.
Yeah, we didn't milk it enough.
Huh? No, we really didn't.
Tune in later for exclusive.
Yes, fans only. Let's see here. I'm trying to see what other things they have going on here. That's guests. That's creators. I'm sure that people who went to Starfest will recognize all this stuff, and I'm not. So they have the Klingon house back. That sounds like a frat. Klingon house.
Kind of, yeah. Lots of drinking.
Mm-hmm.
The Klingon parties at the Mile High Con, etc.
Yeah, so there'll be one there. House Vampire, which seems an odd name for Klingons, but
nerds.
Hufflestomp. Oh yeah, Fallout show. I saw a year or two ago the director on set, like leaning back, reclining in like a post-apocalyptic setting with the chair and talking a little bit about the show, and one of the serving robots comes over and he takes a Nuka-Cola and starts drinking it. So I'm curious to see how they do with the Fallout show. And the next season Fargo's coming out, which every season of Fargo has been really fun. So
Well, that's a good thing to hear.
they really captured the Coen Brothers flavor in each season.
Also coming back out in November is the next season of For All Mankind, which I have been watching and catching up with on my digitizing everything because I've just got nothing to do but sit here and paper click. So I've been watching For All Mankind, which has been really cool. So that's another one that's coming out soon. There is some concern about the future of Star Trek, but I don't know if it's necessarily a threat yet. So, but I think the concern is really much more of a Paramount's playing their cards really close to their chest, and the Trekkies are freaking out. And so I think that's really what's happening.
How dare you not give them full access for them to shit on it at every opportunity?
Exactly. But I mean, I do think
how are they going to get more rage clicks for the fucking right-wing grift?
That's very critical. I'm just saying that's a critical thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's part of it is that Paramount's not talking about anything, and then they pulled all of Prodigy, which was really weird, and I'm still kind of reeling from that. So people are afraid that everybody else is on the chopping block.
So it's not accessible anymore through the.
Yeah, you can't even watch it. It's not even on Paramount anymore. It's bizarre.
The service taking too much money.
Yeah, I have no idea why they would think that was an appropriate thing to do, but they did.
That sounds like they might have hit some kind of weird copyright problem.
That's what it sounds like to me. It was shared with Nickelodeon, which is one of the things that makes me wonder, was there some kind of problem between Nickelodeon and it?
Yeah.
In some way.
You get one of these Robotech situations again.
Right. And God knows that's what we don't need ever again. So, yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of freak out going on there. I'm not sure if that's worth anything, really.
So I was just trying to skim over their programming and stuff, and it looks like it's the usual stuff that you expect. So if you're into going to conventions, this is a convention filled with celebrity guests from your favorite shows and movies, a dealer's room full of stuff you love, panels, comic artists and authors, and yeah, that comic artist right there.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Could not possibly be me.
Literary discussions, not well, I guess it's literal discussions but literary discussions, kids activities, cosplay, fantasy, Star Trek, Star Wars, video games, board gaming, and much more. Cool. Well, we'll be there, and we will do our usual live broadcast stuff to show you what's going on as soon as we can hit day one when we land on that. It is going to be November 24th through November 26th.
Oh.
I haven't even checked my calendar. Watch, I bet they got me down to work those days.
Yep, I'm about to say. I think I know I'm working some of those days.
Black Friday.
Specifically, yeah, it's all around Thanksgiving, and I'm working a lot of those days, which is not pleasant, but you know.
Well, when the kids are out of school, that's when we
work. Yeah, but I'm working in Denver because she couldn't get anybody else to work in Denver, so I'm working in Denver. And hoping that this isn't going to be one of those things I'm going to regret.
Yeah.
Sometimes the kids are really awesome, and sometimes they're inner city kids.
Like, inner city.
Well, and I mean that with a lot of upfront hostility and things you got to kind of combat and struggle with and stuff like that. You know,
you'd be like Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow. Now that you said that, I can't think of it, but I know it.
You're just saying you know it, and you know it.
Look it up.
I want to try to remember it without looking it up. It's not The Principal. It's some. I remember it was like kind of a stupid title though.
Yeah, The Principal.
I don't think it was The Substitute. That's a totally different movie.
That's a different movie.
Definitely not The Secretary. All right, I'm
Graduate. There's The Graduate.
The Graduate.
Oh man.
Dangerous Minds.
Man. I swear.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
There was like a song that became popular from it.
Gangster's Paradise.
That's it. Okay, thank you. So that's like the best thing that came out of that. And then Amish Paradise off of that.
Oh,
yeah,
speaking
that
of,
was one that
and
was
speaking of geek news,
Yes.
today is Weird Al's birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Weird Al.
yay.
It's time to celebrate his birthday. It happens every year. We eat a lot of broccoli and drink a lot of beer. He should be good and happy that there's something he can eat. There's millions every day stopping in the street.
I never did finish the fake biography thing. I got like partway through, and then we ended up stopping because we wanted to start it over again with people who wanted to watch it, and that never happened. So I guess I have to go back and watch it myself. Had Daniel Radcliffe in it as Weird Al.
Yeah, I
And it
totally
was
want to see that.
and it was one of those things where it was like intentionally done over the top and so much stuff fabricated because that's how Weird Al wanted his documentary to be, was just to be mostly
He's done
fabricated.
Makes
fake
sense to me.
documentaries before. Yeah,
Mhm.
The Complete Al comes to mind.
Yep.
Oh man.
But yeah,
I am
Happy
still
birthday,
looking
Weird
forward.
Al.
Yeah, I've been practicing eBay and foil as possible songs for
aluminum
karaoke.
foil. Yeah.
Aluminum foil.
Foil.
So yeah.
All his early stuff, I mean, I can sing pretty much with pretty much cold. But his newer stuff I don't know as well.
Yeah.
But still, love it. Saw him live at Red Rocks a couple years ago. It was good. He was at the Symphony Orchestra.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was doing the Self-Indulgent tour, and
That's such a
he was
weird.
talking about how
outfit.
like it was like deep cuts and smaller shows and everything. And I looked at his set list and I'm like, dude, I've seen you play all these live already. Like, these aren't that deep. I want to hear Nature Trail to Hell.
in 3D.
Yeah. Oh, and it's spooky season. Coming this Christmas to a theater near you. The most horrifying film to hit the screen. There's a homicidal maniac who finds a Cub Scout troop, and he hacks up 2 or 3 in every scene. So bring the kids along. It's good, clean family fun.
Right.
What have you got to lose? If you like the 6 o'clock news, then you'll love Nature Trail to Hell.
In
Oh, you left me
3D.
hanging.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing it. I'm there.
Oh,
It's just, we have a delay.
I'm noticing that the 25th, which is that Saturday, I'll be out of broadcasting range until after 6 o'clock. But that means Sunday we'll just have to try to coordinate all of our interviews for Sunday.
Yeah, I think I specifically tried to ask for the 26th off, so in hopes that she would schedule somebody else.
Yeah, I've already got my calendar, but when they send it to you, it's all out of order, which is really confusing, and it repeats.
That's really weird.
It's I don't know why it's laid out.
Part of the reason it's confusing is because they count the morning class as a different class than the afternoon class. So you get, you're scheduled for the 24th and the 24th and the 25th and the 25th and the 20. So you're like, why is it? Oh, and then you realize, class 1 on the 24th.
No, what you're saying is fine. I get that. But like the first one it has listed is the 20th. And like you said, the 20th and 20th, 21st, 21st, 25th, 25th, then the 5th. Right. So it goes from the 25th of November to the 5th of November. And then it has the 5th of November, the 5th of November, the 5th of November, and the 5th of November. They list the same class twice, which the first time I saw that, I was like, oh crap, they double booked me. And it's like, no, they booked me twice to book the same thing. And it's like, but they're only paying me once. So
yeah.
but
it's too typical.
So I don't know, something with whatever word processing thing they're using to sort stuff, or that's okay.
Yeah, my biggest problem is that's the worst kind of thing on my my mental processes, and I'm like, every time I see that, I'm afraid I've forgotten to put something in, or you know what I mean, like I've forgotten or skipped oh man.
My usual pattern is to grab some post-it notes or something and just start writing it down, so that way I can have a condensed version of all the actual information I need and not all the excess information, and then I sort it out and get it on my calendar.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only way to do it.
But yeah, should be fun. I can at least hit Galacticon Friday, and then Saturday night, and then Sunday all day.
Yeah.
Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Let's see.
There's a Shard Seekers. There's Starfinder. I'm like still trying to figure these things out. We've got a couple of things that are marked played.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like, what are you talking about sharding for?
There's
Talking about
Barrier Peak.
games, yo.
So one of them is Barrier Peaks, but it's Barrier Peaks 06. That was July 30th. I think that was after he had left, because Barrier Peaks was a different thing.
I don't know. I know I've got a few right here on StreamYard, but that's the ones I was having trouble with the audio. But that was my audio, so it might still be salvageable for something. So I just need to pull those off of there and see what we get. Nick's been having fun with the 3D printer. He got Kevin's 3D printer up and running. And
I was supposed to bring mine, but we didn't get together. So I'm kind of glad actually that you waved us off, because I forgot to bring the 3D printer, which would have just made me feel stupid. So there was that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of confusion going on last week, because I thought that we were getting together, and then I also thought that there was some kind of plans in November about us doing karaoke here at my place for a party, and then apparently I was hearing a totally different conversation or misunderstanding what was going on, because I remember Mariah requested a party, June requested a party, and then we're like, we could do both parties. We don't have to do one party. And they were like, well, we can't do a party for Mile High Con. We'll have to do it a different time. It was a Halloween party. Was the party that Mariah was requesting.
Right.
Halloween karaoke party. So I will just bring my laptop and my karaoke stuff to Mile High Con.
Hey, we're down.
Possibly
We were
go
talking
wrong.
about doing some karaoke at Mile High Con. If not for this year, we're like hiring your buddy who does NDK to do it next year.
Yeah.
A little bit too late for this year.
Well, for the attendees, but private party can make
but I mean, also like at least some of the people who want to do that. I mean, by all means, do so. I will be strutting my extra fabulousness at the dance club Sunday night. Naturally. And one thing that they did here at Mile High Con that I just heard about it. We had our final convention committee meeting last Saturday, and all the departments were reporting in and putting their 2 cents in about stuff. And programming is doing a special thing on Friday, which is I don't know what they're calling it exactly, but it is a guest and staff performed cabaret.
You were telling me about this.
Yeah, and I'm like, how have I never heard of this before? Actually, you know what? I'll just own it. I have not been paying close enough attention. I have not heard of this before. Will you be doing it next year? And head of programming, she goes, well, we're bringing it back. I'm like, I have attended Mile High Con more often than not since the mid-90s. I have worked Mile High Con many times. I have never heard of this cabaret before. What do you mean bringing it back? So I don't have time to put something together for Friday night, but I do have an idea. I was thinking about it already. I was already thinking about like watching burlesque shows and being most of the time being like, you know what? I'm better than that person. And
hey, thanks, Bob. I don't know what that is, but I'll take it.
Yeah. But
it's
a resin printer.
Oh, he will dig it because he's really getting into this stuff.
Yeah, so it's like thinking about it. I'm like, maybe hopefully next year they'll do it again, and I'll have time to rehearse the bit I want to do, which is it's reverse striptease, and I'll be getting ready to go out, so to speak, while singing "Feeling Good." So I think it'll hit really hard.
Nice. So is it going to
Oh,
be
sorry, I
for?
thought
Is
it
it? I know it's staff and what was the other part of it?
Guests.
Yeah, staff and guests could participate, but so I assume it's for attendees to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's an actual like in the program guide, come to main events and watch this.
What? Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first back in the day called Denver Comic Con, and I went through so many name changes. But there was a burlesque show at Three Kings, I think the place was called. That was all geeky, nerdy themed because it was connected loosely to Denver Comic Con.
Yeah.
And I convinced did you go with this guy or was it just
Nope.
Kevin? Okay, yeah, it was just as Kevin and Josh.
Kevin, because I wouldn't have been as embarrassed. So I think the entire thing was that you took all the people who'd have been really embarrassed.
Been really embarrassed by it, yeah.
So like, oh no, wait, because I think that wasn't that 4 or 14? That's
yeah, 20. You didn't get to go to the convention because of stupid reasons.
Yep,
but reason. I didn't know if we smuggled you into the burlesque show.
No, and I actually enjoyed having the weekend off, so that was cool. But yeah, it was. But yeah, I wouldn't have gone. I mean, I would have gone, but it wouldn't have embarrassed me. So I think that it would have been funnier to take people who would have been embarrassed. So.
But yeah, I'd never been. That was my first, and actually, I guess that was my only burlesque show I've ever been to.
Oh, okay.
So it was. It's just usually opportunities don't line up. I've got a friend who in New York, and she's really into that, and but she's also got that stage manager kind of brain and putting together shows and things. So
cool.
But I know I often see her posting pictures on Facebook of the things that she's involved in.
That's cool.
So
cool.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of people think burlesque is just stripping and that.
No, there's a whole lot to burlesque.
A lot to
it. Yeah, I dig burlesque. I think it's nice.
Unless Cabaret if watching Cabaret the movie counts, which it probably doesn't.
Oh, Cabaret, yeah. Oh, that's Cabaret.
Cabaret. Right. It's not burlesque. There's a movie called Burlesque, but I refuse to watch it because I've got other things to watch. Not that it won't be like Showgirls, which I refuse to watch. I heard that was absolutely horrible.
Show tent? Yeah. It earned itself. It's
tent has a different meaning in some cases.
Yeah, yep. and I think we don't have enough time to go into the story.
You have to save it to next time, unless if you don't have an art show.
No. Yeah, I'll have to explain it later. But yeah,
just leave everybody hanging for a week.
We'll let you all hang for a week.
To the left, or to the right,
or to the right.
It's bifurcated both directions.
Unless you're Klingon, which hangs both directions.
Really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, Bob Sheets, I will definitely take you up on that offer, and yeah, I know you have to be going off on your secret CIA mission and stuff soon, so I don't know when we'll get together, but we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. And then next week's show you'll probably have been recovered by Monday, right, Alex?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll be working from Friday evening through Monday afternoon. I'll be going dancing Sunday. But no, I should be fine.
Okay, nice.
Mostly dead.
You know me,
right? And yeah, we'll just do we'll get the scoop of what went down then.
Yeah,
at the convention.
Yeah,
that'll work. Fun. We'll go over Mile High Con. Sounds good. But unfortunately, I've got to bow out.
Yeah,
so you guys got to bounce.
Yeah, so that's all the time I've got.
To wrap it up.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us. And I've been Guy.
I've been Troy.
And I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Take.
Say it slower.
This is Geek. time.